Hi, everyone, and welcome to this World of Fire webinar, More Than CMYK, Simplifying Premium Color Printing. I'm Joanna Portela, and I'll be your host for today's session. And we're thrilled to have you with us. Now, let me introduce you to our fantastic presenters, Giselle Robson, our Senior Product Marketing Manager, and Doug Richards, our Product Line Manager. Together, they walk through real examples, demos, and tips that you can take it away right now and start using immediately. So let's get started. Giselle, take it away.
Thanks, Joanna. So today we will be talking about a really fun topic, premium color printing. We define premium color printing as any kind of print that uses more inks or toners than just CMYK. So in this session, we'll help you understand what's possible with Fiery-driven cut sheet and high-speed inkjet presses that support additional toners or inks besides CMYK. And you will learn how to use tools on the Fiery server to embellish files and extend the press gamut to enhance photos and hit more brand colors. So Joanna, I think want to kick off our first poll?
Yes. So you should see right now at your screens a poll option. And our first poll of the day is, do you have a press that supports CMYK plus additional toner inks? And choose your answers, click submit, and we'll have a look at the answers in just a minute.
All right. Thanks, Joanna. Don't forget to answer that, everybody. Okay, so let's talk about why you would want to use premium colors. Premium colors help command attention. You can add shimmering effects or ultra vivid colors to help printed pieces stand out in crowded mailboxes, retail shelves, and branded materials. You can create a tactile and visual wow factor, making print more memorable for your audience. Premium colors also make print feel more luxurious. Clear metallics and fluorescents add luxury and uniqueness, while expanded gamut colors enable more brand-accurate, photorealistic results. Premium colors are a dream for creatives. You can push design boundaries with metallic accents, spot gloss, textured layers, white ink on dark or colored stocks, or add neon effects. You can also make prints more secure. Invisible red or clear toners add security watermarks to prints, making it harder for unauthorized users to reproduce them. You can also use expanded gamut colors to print spot colors more accurately to meet brand expectations, which can enable you to accept more work. Here, you see some examples of logo colors displayed in both CMYK and CMYK+, in this case CMYK plus pink, and each one shows the delta E value. So in case you're not familiar with delta E, it's a number that shows how different two colors are and how close a printed color is to a reference color spec. The smaller the number, the closer the match. And here you see the CMYK plus versions in green bold have a lower delta E. Joanna, is the poll still going? Do we have the results that we can check in on?
Yeah, you all should be able to see the results right now. We have, the majority of you already have a press that supports CMYK plus, which is great, and you'll get some good information here today. 30% of you don't have one yet, and right now we have 8% of you don't have one but are interested in making a future investment.
Oh, that's great. So we've got a very engaged audience today, which is our favorite kind of audience. So hopefully everyone is going to get something out of this. So we just heard from Joanna what the poll results are, and all of you that have already made that investment in a press that supports premium colors or is looking to make that investment, you did it because you want to see it as a tool for business growth. And you're not alone. A Keypoint Intelligence survey asked print service providers what strategies they planned to implement to sustain or grow business over the next 3 years. 44% of respondents in the US and 38% in Europe planned to sell higher value specialty print at a higher price. In this hot off the press study from Tactiful and What They Think, it also showed that having embellishment capabilities be a profit center was the whole point of print businesses' investment in them. Here, 54% of survey respondents said that the main reason they added these capabilities was to generate more profit, while 19% said that they added these capabilities due to a specific client demand. Here, when customers were asked, how hard it is to design jobs for premium color printing, about a third of respondents said that it was at least somewhat difficult to design for these jobs. And in this survey, those respondents already had the equipment. So small establishments are actually more challenged by the ease of setup of these jobs than larger establishments. And while there's no doubt that jobs for premium color printing can be more difficult and take a little longer to set up than CMYK jobs, that could just be a fact of life. And small businesses are stretched thin staff-wise as it is. But here at Fiery, we're here to help businesses of all size get the most out of their presses. And as we'll show you, we have tools that make file setup intuitive and easy, no matter whether you design files internally or whether you get pre-prepared files from your clients or a designer. We'll show you that it may not be as intimidating as you may think. So now let's talk a little bit more about the specific colors that we consider to be premium colors. So you may hear lots of different names in the industry for additional toners and inks. Here at Fiery, we classify premium colors into two different groups based on their functionality on the Fiery server. And we'll explain more about those definitions in a minute. The first group is specialty colors. On this slide, you'll see the different specialty colors that Fiery servers on Fiery-driven presses support, along with the partners that have Fiery-driven cut sheet or high-speed inkjet presses that support them. As you can see, white is the most commonly supported specialty color, followed by clear, gold, silver, low gloss clear or textured paper, invisible red, and fluorescent yellow. The other group of premium colors are expanded gamut or CMYK plus colors. These include neon yellow, pink, orange, green, blue, and violet. Note that some older Fiery-driven presses and servers from Xerox, Fujifilm, Sharp, and Ricoh support pink and or neon yellow as specialty colors only. But the latest versions of these presses and Fiery DFEs support true expanded gamut printing with them. But don't worry, you'll still learn some helpful tips in this session, no matter what version of press or Fiery server that you have. And as you've seen on the last two slides, Fiery is very proud to lead the industry by supporting so many premium colors across many different partners and markets. In a slightly older version of the Tactful and What They Think study, they ranked the most popular premium colors in order of demand. So here on this slide, it's a listing of all the colors that they were surveyed. You'll see the premium colors supported on Fiery-driven presses in pink, and you'll see that it's a majority of this list. As we see in what our partners are supporting, white is the most popular additional color used for specialty inks and toners, with clear and metallics not far behind. And that's actually not surprising because many packaging and label applications require white. And you'll recall from the previous slide that that is actually the highest number of Fiery-driven presses that support white. So now that you've seen the most popular colors in the industry, Joanna, let's push another poll.
Yes, so you could see now the new poll on your screen, and the question is, what additional colors do you use or want to use? Pick as many as you want, and if you do choose other, please let us know in the chat which one you would like to use.
Great, thanks, Joanna. Okay, so now we will explain what you may have been wondering. So what is the difference between specialty colors and expanded gamut colors? Specialty colors are non-profiled colors that are always treated as spot colors, and their primary purpose is to add embellishment to prints. On the Fiery server, the options for these colors can be found in the specialty color or specialty colorant on some presses tab in Fiery Command Workstation job properties, which we're showing on the left of the screen here. So remember a few slides ago when we mentioned that colors like pink or neon yellow are supported as specialty colors only on some Fiery-driven presses or servers? Well, if your press supports these colors and you're really not sure how they're used, if you configure pink or yellow in the specialty color tab, that's your answer. On your press, they're treated as specialty colors. In contrast, expanded gamut colors are profiled colors. So in other words, they're treated the same as cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And like CMYK, you configure their options in the color tab in job properties. So this widens the color gamut of a press. So as you see, and in this example here on the slide, this is a press that supports pink as an expanded gamut color. The solid square is the CMYK gamut, and the pink wireframe surrounding it shows how the gamut of the press is expanded with the addition of pink as a profiled color. And this means that you can print more colors more accurately. So we just mentioned that expanded gamut colors are profiled colors, but why is profiling important for expanded gamut printing? Well, think of a profile as the blueprint for how color is interpreted and reproduced on a press. Expanded gamut colors are used to achieve colors that traditional CMYK cannot reproduce. Without profiling these colors, the DFE may misinterpret how they should be rendered on specific substrates, leading to inconsistent or inaccurate colors, especially when printing on different substrates. Profiling enables Fiery DFEs to use rendering intents that balance visual appearance and colorimetric accuracy, which is especially important when expanded gamut colors are in play. Tools like Fiery Color Profiler Suite support profiling of these colors to deliver consistent, predictable output. The Fiery DFE can better utilize expanded gamut colors to match spot colors like Pantone colors more precisely, offering tighter delta E tolerances and better visual outcomes. And profiled colors can use other spot color management tools on the Fiery server, like Spot Pro, to dial in the accuracy and visual appearance. And with properly profiled expanded gamut colors, operators spend less time making manual adjustments or rerunning jobs due to color mismatches. It really takes the guesswork out of printing and designing. So now you understand the difference between the different types of premium colors, specialty colors and expanded gamut colors. Now, how do you set up your files to use them? One way is to include named spot colors in the design file. So this is great for print service providers that are knowledgeable about designing with spot colors and special effects. It provides full creative control over how premium colors are used in a file. And the Fiery server will see these spot colors in the file and then print the file as the designer intended. Or you can use tools on the Fiery server to enhance files. It's really the easiest option. No design expertise is required. You can add basic enhancements right to the file at the DFE. And by adding enhancements at the DFE, you don't disturb your design workflow. This is also great for showing your clients how using additional toners can enhance a printed piece, providing a potential upsell opportunity, because once a client sees the enhanced print, it's really hard for them to say no. Now, let's get to what you've all been waiting for, some real examples and demos of how to use premium colors on a Fiery server. And to take us through those, Doug is going to show us some examples. So Doug, over to you.
All right, well, thank you, Giselle. And so in this example, this is where a graphic artist has used, in this case, InDesign, to build in a floral design in the background. So the floral design is sandwiched between the image of the two individuals and then also and the text, and then also the colored background. And so with that, it provides this really unique effect. And so the artist created a layer for that pattern and then also assigned it a separate spot color called clear. And so with that, then the Fiery will go ahead and pick up on that name clear and put clear toner just down in that area that was specified. In the previous example, it was really the designer adding the enhancement. Here, what we're going to do is we're going to take an image that's a handbag, and we're going to use something called Image Enhanced Visual Editor to add some texture. Now, you may know Image Enhanced Visual Editor by playing with some colors, tweaking the brightness, etc. But we also have this visual effects layer. And so what we can do is we can go ahead and turn this on. There we go. And what we've done is we've added automatically a clear layer to this job. And I'm just going to say emboss here under the style. And what it's done, you can kind of see a little bit of it, the clear being added, but I'm going to change this to an overlay so you see exactly where we've added clear to it. So it's gone in and looked at all the edges and nooks and crannies in here and automatically added clear toner to this job. And if I click on this little animate camera here, we can see how the light bounces off of that effect and gives us an idea of what adding clear did to this job. So we'll go ahead and save this out. I'm going to just hit close and it'll give us an option to save it. So we'll say yes. And then if we take a peek inside of Fiery Job Properties, what we're going to notice is under the specialty colorant area here, we've already have clear enabled. So this was done by Image Enhanced Visual Editor automatically for us. So we really don't need to do anything. It's already been set up, and it's already set up to say use clear spot colors, which was what Image Enhanced Visual Editor did for us. So we're going to say process and hold, and we're going to take a look at this inside of Image Viewer. So those of you that aren't familiar with Image Viewer, it is a preview of the actual ripped file. And here you can see that there is a clear separation in there. And I'm going to uncheck everything but the clear so you get an idea of where that was added. So once again, Image Viewer is really fantastic for working with any kind of specialty color or gamut expansion color, because you can see the separations as they're going to be printed. So another color that was mentioned is white, very, very popular. And a really interesting effect is when you take those colors, and especially white, and print them on different color media. And so if we, inside of Photoshop, we go in and we change this to a monotone image, specifying white as the color, print that onto that dark substrate. It's very, very dramatic, very beautiful, and certainly I think something that a lot of folks like to do with the white toner. White can also be used inside of the design file itself. So in this case, what the designer has done is created a separate white spot color and have done things like create some visual elements, but then you also notice that they backed up the barcode in the design as well. And so that way, when it printed on a darker media, it's actually able to be scanned. And this is the same type of packaging, but we've printed it on a clear media. Kind of this translucent media for packaging has become fairly popular. And so you can see now where that barcode is able to be scanned because it has white behind it. And you can see the all the visual impact of having white backing up images, but also just seeing white on the transparent material itself. And then a slightly different take on things where this is now printed on a metallic media, the image to your right. And what we've done is we've just one little checkbox in job properties, we're able to invert the image and have this be a very different type of packaging, again, just with one mouse click. Decals, or sometimes they're called window clings. This is where, again, just a single mouse click in job properties, what we can do is we can flood the page with white, print CMYK over it, and then that way we're able to make sure that the light doesn't, when you're viewing it, doesn't pass through, but it does, that white provides kind of a diffusion layer and makes everything more, much more legible on that transparent material. All right, so let's take a look at a very, very common and one of the most popular applications, which is business cards. So this business card, we want to print on black paper, but what we were given is a job where somebody tried to help us out by creating a spot color called gold. We're going to use gold and white in this job because what we want to do is we want to back this text up that's going to end up being gold with white as well as the logo. And so we can see that spot color here that someone tried to help us out with. They called it golden, and that's fine, but we don't have any reference to it. But by using Spot Pro here in Command Workstation, what I can automatically do is either add it to an existing group, or I can go ahead and create a new group, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to call this group card. For business card, I'm going to add it, and it automatically then added that spot color golden to my library. Then if I go into the bigger Spot Pro application, I can turn on the fact that I want to use a specialty color. And in this case, I'm going to use it in the over position. And if I click on gold, I'm going to go ahead and edit this color because right now there's no values in there for it. And I'm going to make it 100% gold. So we'll type in that. And I'm going to do a little trick. So bear with me. You'll see why I'm doing this in just a few moments. But I'm going to add just a hint of yellow in here. And this is so I have some CMYK. And again, hang with me here and you'll see why I'm doing this. So I'm just adding a tiny bit of yellow in there. Right? And so we're good to go now. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now I have a recipe for this color called golden, which was embedded in this job that a customer sent me. All right, so now let's just go into job properties. So we'll go in right down. There we go, properties. And I'm going to go to the specialty colorant area. So this is, again, a reminder, this is non-profiled colors. So apply specialty color over CMYK. Well, I went gold here, right? And I'm going to apply it to spot colors and selected objects type. So we had created a color called gold or golden, made it 100% plus a little bit of yellow. And this is why I added that little bit of yellow, because I needed some CMYK that this white is going to go under, because what I'm going to do is apply it to all printed content. And when it says all printed content, it means CMYK printed content. So that was the little cheat code that I did there with adding that little hint of yellow. All right, so let's go ahead. Now that we've set up our job, let me go ahead and process this out. You can already see in the preview some good things are happening here. We have gold text now. We have some white. And so once again, bring it into Image Viewer so we can see exactly what's going on here. And if we take just a look here where I was pointing in the separations, when I hover over this text, sure enough, we got gold, we got white underneath it, a little bit of yellow. You won't see it, it's such a small amount. And then if we then move over and take a look at what we're doing on the logo, sure enough, we got our white underneath that, and also white in the other parts of the Fiery logo as well. So this was, I think, a good example of where we got a file from a customer. They told us what they wanted to do. Maybe they didn't quite do the design perfectly. However, we were able to use Fiery tools alone to solve that problem. We didn't have to go back and edit the customer document at all. So again, business cards, super, super popular use of specialty color. And gold and silver can be used either by themselves, it can be used to print on various colors of paper, but they can also be used together. So there's an example kind of towards the bottom of your screen there where we actually have gold and silver kind of blending together. So it's certainly doable, and I think the impact is very dramatic. And the color of the paper, makes all the difference. So this was a file that we had worked on for our folks over in Asia Pacific region, Year of the Rabbit, and that gold on top of that red paper is just beautiful. And so don't limit yourself just to black paper. Make sure you take a look at all the different color papers, because when dealing with specialty color, it really has quite the impact. And then when we looked at image enhanced visual editor, when we added that clear layer, we also could have added silver instead to add a little bit of glimmer to it. And so if you wanted to add silver or gold, do you want to enhance some images or photographs, you can certainly do that using image enhanced visual editor. Once again, you don't have to go in and make edits to the document itself. We can do that on the Fiery.
Thanks, Doug. Great examples of all the really cool things you can do with specialty colors. So now let's switch gears and talk about the other type of premium color printing, expanded gamut colors. They are really easy to use on a Fiery server. There's just a few clicks required, and then the Fiery server does all the heavy lifting for you. No design work is necessarily needed. And since this is true expanded gamut, the colors are fully profiled. So in the color tab, you see the radio button to select CMYK Plus along with the available expanded gamut colors. And just to emphasize, because we're treating gamut expansion colors just like CMYK, on a Fiery server, you work with them in the color tab. So with gamut expansion and CMYK Plus, you have a couple of different options. The first is to use the expanded gamut color across the whole file. So then the next step that you need to do is you need to select the output profile. So if you've already selected a media in job properties that has a CMYK Plus profile associated with it, you can leave it on the default, which is use job defined settings. Or you can manually select a factory profile, because all of Fiery-driven presses that support expanded gamut colors come with at least one factory profile for CMYK Plus, the expanded gamut toner. Or a custom one that maybe you've created for a specific media using Color Profiler Suite. And that profile will be applied across the whole document. Or you can choose to apply CMYK Plus expanded gamut only to the spot colors in a file. So this is a bit more of an economical option. You'll see an illustration of that in a minute, and is good if the goal for the print is for more accurate brand colors. It's also helpful if you want to comply with industry standards for the CMYK portion of the document. So here you actually get to choose two different profiles. You get to choose one for your CMYK content and one for the CMYK Plus content. And in this case, that is just the spot colors. So like specialty colors, you also have the option to include expanded gamut colors in the design file if there's an area that you want to particularly emphasize, but Fiery makes it so easy otherwise that really is not something that you have to do. So here's a visualization on a file of the difference in coverage between using a gamut expanding toner, pink in this case, across a whole file, which you see on the left, or restricting it to just spot colors, which you see on the right. Obviously on the left, you see so much more coverage as it's including images and other elements in the files, compared with spot colors where you really see it just in those spot colors. Expanded gamut is also great for photos. There's lots of examples of how expanded gamut really can make a difference in photos. We're just showing you one here in the interest of time. You see CMYK on the left and CMYK plus pink on the right. And just one note I want to make here, these images are scans of actual prints. So every example we're showing today in this whole presentation is either a screenshot from the design file or a screenshot from a Fiery application or a scan or a photo of a real print. No smoke and mirrors here. We're showing you it as it is. So obviously, when you look at the CMYK plus pink version of this image, there is a huge difference in the pink dress. Much more vivid. You see so much more detail. The same with the orange background. Again, you see much more detail and it's more vivid. And the skin tones are brighter and smoother. And again, here, I didn't do anything in my design file. I just selected the appropriate options on the Fiery server. As we mentioned before, expanded gamut colors can also make a huge difference for spot color accuracy. It brings many colors previously out of gamut on a press back in gamut, and it can also significantly improve out of gamut colors, maybe not bringing them all the way back in gamut, but bringing them much closer than they were before. So here on this slide, we're showing you two groups of spot colors in Fiery Spot Pro. So for each group, you see CMYK on the left and CMYK plus pink on the right. When you look at the left, look at all of the yellow out of gamut symbols on the left, which sometimes these colors can be very hard to reproduce on any press, compared with the green in gamut symbols on the right, which is pretty impressive, I think. And again, you didn't have to do anything on your file. Fiery does this automatically by using an expanded gamut output profile. Spot colors with more CMYK plus can look more solid, and because they have less black in them, they can actually look less screened. So here in this example, you see brighter, more visually appealing colors when pink is added into the spot color recipe. And again, we're talking about pink for expanded gamut today because that's a very popular color right now. You'll see similar effects for other expanded gamut colors that are supported on Fiery servers and Fiery-driven presses. Doug, let's take a look at another demo.
Sure. So this is a job that comes in, it doesn't have any pink in it to begin with. It is, I think it's a combination of RGB imagery as well as some named colors, but we want to print it using CMYK plus pink. So all we need to do is to start out is to simply go and take a look inside of job properties and start there. If we right mouse click on the job, we bring up job properties, and you notice that to begin with, we're just going to be printing this in CMYK mode, but I want CMYK plus mode. And this particular device, you have a combination of a couple different colors. We're going to use pink, and really that's it. If we wanted just to do spot colors only, meaning expand the gamut of those spot colors, we could choose that, and then that would leave the CMYK data alone, or actually all the data, RGB data, CMYK data, it would leave it alone. That way, if you were trying to either save some money or maybe you were trying to aim for some sort of standard or specification, you could do that, but enhance your spot colors. So we're just going to process and hold this job. And then once again, we're going to go ahead and open this up into one of my favorite tools, Image Viewer. And it came in rotated here. So let's just go ahead and put it right side up so we can look at it a little bit better. There we go. And once again, looking at the separations, we can see that we have CMYK and pink. So let me uncheck all of the CMYK, and again, pay attention to kind of next to the separations as I hover over them. And right away, you can see exactly where that pink's being laid down. So if we look in the woman's shirt, yes, there's a lot of pink going in there. It's kind of a pink-ish shirt to begin with. We're putting quite a bit in the lips, and we're adding a little bit into the skin areas. We're not overdoing it. We don't want her to turn pink, but we want to fill it in a little bit. Same thing in the hair, very little in the hair. Again, we don't want her hair to turn pink. In this blanket that was laying next to this cat, you notice that we haven't really put much of anything in there because, again, we want neutrals to remain neutral. The cat itself, we put a little bit in there. It's kind of an orangey cat, so you get a little bit, but not too much, right? It's really stays where there should be neutrals. There was a leaf up here that stays neutral, but again, we got an orange blanket here. Yeah, we're going to put some pink in there to make that pop a bit more, and certainly the little pumpkin there that gets popped. And then for the spot color, so these are all kind of pink, purple, orange spot colors. And of course, we're going to end up adding pink, but these are all calculated. So inside of Spot Pro, the calculation to add pink in here is done automatically, and it does it for accuracy, right? It doesn't just add pink in there to give some sort of visual impact. Its intent is to make these colors more accurate. So Giselle, back to you.
Thank you, Doug. Great examples. Okay, so now that you've seen what's possible with premium color printing on a Fiery driven press, actually just a few examples of what's possible, because honestly, we could talk all day about different examples of things that you can do with premium colors, but we gave you a handful of the top ones. And now let's take a look at some other Fiery tools that help you get the most out of your investment. So as you've seen hints of so far in this presentation, Fiery Spot Pro is an essential tool for working with premium colors. So it's part of the Fiery Graphic Arts Pro package, which is included with most servers that support premium color printing. However, if it's not included with your server, it's a must-have to get the most out of your premium color investment. And here's just a few of the ways. You can optimize expanded gamut spot colors with a spectrophotometer, and this ensures that they are always printing to the best of your press's ability on a specific media. You can create custom spot color blends, like Doug showed you, that use a specialty color. For example, you could blend a Pantone color with silver or gold to create a shimmering version of that color. Swatchbooks are great to show a client how expanded gamut or specialty colors will reproduce on a specific media. And if you optimize your spot colors, you can even display the delta E on each swatch, which is great for brand owners to see how well their colors are outputting on a specific media. The variations feature is a really great way to refine spot color appearance by selecting the right visual match. And you can also generate variations for spot colors that include specialty or expanded gamut colors. And as we've seen before, Spot Pro is great for seeing at a glance how expanded gamut colors can improve spot color accuracy. So Doug has showed you lots of examples of Image Viewer and how it's really an essential tool for premium color printing. Again, Image Viewer is also part of the Fiery Graphic Arts Pro package. It allows you to preview and adjust ripped files. And again, you've seen in Doug's demos how you can isolate the individual separations to confirm that premium colors are printing correctly where they're supposed to be printing. And this is a great check to do before printing anything. On a related note, I showed you how useful Image Viewer is for comparing coverage when printing with expanded gamut colors, no matter whether you're using it over the whole file or whether you're just applying it to spot colors. And we didn't necessarily show you this example today, but you can also manually adjust how premium colors appear. So Doug showed you how you see the different separations for each color. Well, in Image Viewer, you can actually go in and adjust the color curve. Here in this example, I've boosted the fluorescent pink channel because even though I used it for expanded gamut, I still wanted to kick up the look of how the pink looked a little bit more. Or you can even choose to replace an existing color on a page with a premium color, which is great for creating proof of concept or upsell jobs for clients. And by doing it right in Image Viewer, you are not disturbing your design workflow. One of the challenges with premium color printing is that additional inks and toners are not included in click charges for presses that follow that model. So in order to price jobs correctly and achieve your profitability goals, you really need to understand your consumption of these inks and toners. Many Fiery driven presses that support premium color printing also include the Fiery Smart Estimator. This is an app built right into Command Workstation, and it allows you to estimate the toner or ink cost for a ripped job before printing a single page. And for gamut expansion especially, it's super helpful to see the price difference, the cost difference for toner between using a color throughout the whole file and just for spot colors. Combining personalization with premium color printing is really a winning combination for catching an audience's attention. And with Fiery Freeform Create, our free application for creating VDP files, you can easily create personalized files that include specialty or expanded gamut colors. So to use with specialty colors, all you need to do in Freeform Create is simply upload an ASE, Adobe Swatch Exchange file that includes the named specialty colors into the Freeform Create application. From there, you can make specialty colors for your text or even barcodes with just a click. And then when you send it to the Fiery server, it recognizes the specialty colors and applies accordingly. And it's really just as easy as that. And of course, you can also use Freeform Create files with expanded gamut colors too. Like we showed you before, you just select the right output profile and it'll apply it into the file. And just a tip, if you download the Freeform Kit on fiery.com/freeformcreate, I provide you with sample files that even include a sample ASE file that includes the most common specialty colors that we support. You can sort of call it a cheat code for premium color printing. You can also see demo videos of how we set that up in Freeform Create on fiery.com as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about doing embellishments offline. Previously, we've showed you examples of how Fiery-driven printers that support premium colors, you're doing that right in line on the press. Now let's talk about using offline embellishments. And Doug's going to talk a little bit about that.
So with tools like JobFlow and Impose, it makes it very easy to prep files to use offline. Spot UV coders from Duplo MGI eliminates these manual steps and really speeds up the process. So here's an example. You have a file that's printed on a Fiery-driven press, and you want to embellish it offline on a Duplo, in this case, a DDC 810 spot UV coder, and then slit cut crease also on a Duplo device. Using JobFlow and Impose, you can do the following in just one click. You can impose the job, add the barcodes, registration marks for the Duplo devices, have the CMYK file or CMYK plus file sent to the Fiery-driven press, send the spot UV file to the Duplo DDC 810, and then when the prints reach each stage of the finishing process, simply scan the barcodes on the device. You don't need to do any additional setup. And it just really makes this whole process a whole lot easier, again, using, in this case, Impose and JobFlow.
Thank you, Doug. It's very cool. It just shows you how Fiery tools can make print easy, no matter whether it's on a Fiery-driven press or outside of a Fiery-driven press. So now let's talk about next steps for putting all of the things that we've showed you today into action. So we've shown you how Fiery-driven digital presses help simplify premium color printing. So if you're in the market for a new press, here's a few suggestions for you. First, talk to a Fiery partner. Our partners offer a wide range of presses for every application imaginable. And no matter what your needs are, even outside of premium color printing, there is a Fiery-driven press out there for you. Or you can reach out directly to us. So our team is here to help you understand how Fiery technology can bring your ideas to life. So if you want to have someone from Fiery reach out to you to discuss, scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the form, and someone from our team will follow up with you. So maybe you have a press that's capable of premium color printing today, but you haven't made the investment yet in those added capabilities. Or maybe you made the investment, but you haven't really used them yet. So today we've showed you what's possible and hopefully provided some inspiration for you to go and try out some new applications. Our partners also have great educational programs for designers and business development and how to market your services. And I also want to give a shout out to an organization called Tactiful. They are a great resource for education on all forms of digital embellishment, business development, and they'll even do trainings on how to get the most out of equipment that you currently have, plus how to develop a marketing plan to promote your services. Several of our partners also partner with Tactiful as well, so definitely a great resource. Either reach out to them directly or talk to your Fiery reseller if you've got a premium color press. Lots of resources for you there.
And then we have a very good partner, a friend, Color Logic and Touch 7. And so with Color Logic, what they've done is they developed a metallic color matching system. And so they have these metallic palettes that you can use in your Adobe applications, but they also have created these different visual effects. So you can very easily go in and add things like watermarks, for instance, or security marks using metallics. And so these can be printed either with, say, silver toner, or it could be used with white toner on metallic media. So it works both ways. The Fiery certainly facilitates that through the invert function. And then we have they have the Touch 7 neon color system, again, for folks that are working from a palette, a repeatable palette. They've created these systems.
Thank you, Doug. So our Fiery Learning platform is an on-demand, 24/7, anytime, anywhere resource for you. And the best part about Fiery Learning is that the majority of the resources on Fiery Learning are free. And as we speak, our team is working on some brand new learning resources on premium color printing. So keep an eye out for those soon. We'll have some new resources for you. So we mentioned learning resources, but we're curious if there's any other resources that you'd like to see from us to help you get the most out of premium color printing on a Fiery-driven press. So Joanna, want to open this poll?
Yes, so I'm just opening our last poll. And the question is, what resources would you like to see from us? So you have here a few options. Choose as many as you want. And if you want something else that we haven't listed, please send us on the chat too.
So we hope you found today's session valuable. So as we've just shown you a taste of, the possibilities with premium color printing are endless. So we hope you got some inspiration today. And when you are ready to put your ideas into action, you've learned how that with a Fiery-driven press, you have got the tools for success, tools that help you drive more profits for your business and bring you happier clients. So with that, Joanna, back to you.
Yes, so, well, we have a bunch of questions here. And remember, if you do have a question, send us through the chat and we'll try to get to it. If we don't get to all of the questions, don't worry, we'll capture them and write all the answers in the document and send you all per email later. So one question we get here a lot is, can we get the presentation and the recording? Yes. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we are recording the session and we will send a follow-up email containing all the links per email in a couple of days. All right, so let's get to the questions. So one question is, so I really don't need any extra tools to hand these extra colors. Maybe Giselle, if you want to help.
Yeah, sure. So as we've shown, there's a lot of tools on the Fiery server to help you work with them. And actually something I want to go back and say that I want to make sure is clear to everybody is that everything we're talking about today is possible on a Fiery-driven press that has the capabilities to support these additional colors. So everything we've shown you today needs a press that supports CMYK plus other toners. So this is not possible on a cut sheet press that just supports CM, Y, and K. Your press has to be specifically designed to do these additional colors and can take these additional colors. So we've shown you a whole bunch of tools on the Fiery server that you don't need to do anything outside of the Fiery server. You can adjust you can make the changes right on in the Fiery server or in Fiery applications. Now, if you want to do things in the design file, great option. You know, again, it really just depends on sort of your level of expertise and comfort with designing and really what you want to achieve on your end result and how much control you want to have over the output. So it kind of depends, but you've got lots of tools to do it either way.
Yeah, I just had a quick comment to kind of tag on to what you were saying, because there were a few questions regarding, my current system doesn't have the CMYK plus capabilities. What I would encourage you to do is to go and talk to your rep, to your sales rep, and let them know that you're interested in adding this capability. Depending on the Fiery server, it could be simply a software upgrade that's required, or it might need a kind of the next generation Fiery. But highly encourage you to engage with your sales rep on that if you don't already have, say, CMYK plus, even though you might have pink toner in your machine today.
Great. So another question is, how do additional colors and toner limits work together?
So every printer, whether it's toner or ink, there's some sort of limit on how much toner ink you can put on the page. And that certainly applies to when you're using either the specialty colors or CMYK plus colors. So there are internal calculations on how much total toner is going to go out on the sheet. And so using Image Viewer, you can see exactly what the end result is going to be, right? Because if we loaded it up too much, then you would have image quality issues. You'd have toner chipping off the sheet, all kinds of bad things happening. So we make sure that that doesn't happen. But using Image Viewer, you can certainly see what the result's going to be before you even have to print a page.
Right. Another question here is layer also important or enough to have the spot color?
So a layer helps you define where it's going to where that, say, specialty color is going to land on the sheet. You know, what CMYK image might be above it or below it. So that's where the layer is going to help. But you really ideally need to define it as a say a spot color. So if you're using silver, call it out as silver. That way you can be very specific on that color. And then inside the Fiery, you can either just say, hey, I want this color called silver to be printed using silver toner, or you could, as I did, go into Spot Pro and create a actual formula for that. So maybe you're creating, say, a metallic effect where maybe you called it silver blue. Well, now you can go ahead and build in that formula where maybe it's silver, but also has a bit of cyan and magenta, a little bit of magenta put in there to build kind of a blue color for you that would be printed in conjunction with that silver. So it's really the name is what we're shooting for.
Great. And talking about Spot Pro, we have a question here. Is Spot Pro included in Fiery or is it an add-on? Maybe Giselle can help us there.
Yeah. So thinking about most of the Fiery-driven presses that support premium colors, the majority of them, the servers already come with Spot Pro. It's an option that's already included with the server, as is Image Viewer. There's a couple of examples of servers that don't already include a Graphic Arts Pro package, which is or ColorWrite package, which includes Spot Pro and Image Viewer. In those cases, you would need to add that Fiery option to your Fiery server. So you can either purchase it directly from your Fiery reseller, or you can purchase it directly from us through our online store. But in my opinion, I think everyone on this call would agree, being able to use the tools in Spot Pro and Image Viewer is an essential tool if you want to use premium color printing to really maximize that investment.
Great. And what is the point of the white underlay for the printing of gold?
Well, I think
Sure.
was this for Doug's example?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reason I did that is while gold toner on black paper generally has a pretty good effect, by backing it with white, it even has more of an impact. It even looks a bit more sparkly. So that's why I was doing it. Yeah, good question, because a lot of folks simply just go ahead and put gold toner on black paper, and it does look good, but backing it with white even makes it look a little bit nicer.
And actually, that's another really good point. And that's another benefit of white. Using white as an underlay basically allows you to keep the fidelity of your CMYK content when you're printing on colored media. So for example, brand colors and other things that you want to keep, visible and be able to see, putting a white underlay allows you to come through and then still use the color of the media sort of as another design element in your file.
So on gold again, is it possible to trap the white underlay so that it doesn't creep outside of the gold?
So we don't have a specific white trapping tool. Depending on your Fiery server, you might see a feature called cutback trapping. And so what we look to do is we try to cut back the lightest toner. And so with cutback trapping, using white, it will shrink back the white a bit. And so that's something to take a look at. Again, not every system has that, but that may be helpful for you if you're experiencing that problem.
Okay, and I have another question that many people ask. How many of these color features are available in Fiery XF? And this one, I think we have also Roland Kempa here with us in our panel. Maybe Roland can take this one.
Yes, sure. I tried to answer it in the chat already. So Fiery XF supports most of the features that we have been demonstrating today, but the user experience is a little bit different. So Fiery and Fiery XF share the same profiling capabilities. The calibration process is a little bit different. In Fiery XF, we're using Color Editor instead of Spot Pro, and there's no application such as Image Viewer. But Fiery XF fully supports both expanded gamut and specialty color workflow. So again, user experience is slightly different, but basically the things that you have seen being presented by Giselle and Doug today can be realized in a Fiery XF installation as well.
Very good. Another question, does the FP gamut extension to CMYK help the flash tones on AI generated photo images?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say, I mean, fluorescent pink can definitely enhance skin tones. And of course, it's very helpful in many other areas as well. Helps them to peak out. This would be the case in both natural photographs as well as in AI generated ones. And keep in mind that if you are using this in the expanded gamut workflow, where we are using an output profile that actually includes the pink as a fifth separation, then it will just be blended in a smooth and natural way. And as you have seen in the demonstration from Doug, you can still go to Image Viewer and then, according to your desire, soften or reduce the intensity as needed. So it gives you the advantage in an automatic way and still the control to fully customize it. So the answer is yes.
Thank you. And I'm conscious that we are on time. I will take then 2 more questions. And as I mentioned, the ones that we didn't get to live, we will put them in a document and send all the answers per email later on. So another question, and do the newest production presses for Fujifilm that are CMYK Plus use Fiery server or is only Fujifilm own server?
So for those systems, we do have Firies for the full lineup. So please ask for them. They are available.
And the last question is it possible to get that pink into design application, or is it all in the RIP?
So yeah, you can absolutely do that. So for instance, if you wanted to kind of manually enhance an image, you can go ahead and do that. You would create a spot color or a spot, depending on if you're working in Photoshop or in another application, you could either create a spot separation or a spot color, call it pink, and then simply when you go to pick your CMYK Plus, you would say apply to spot colors only. That way, effectively the CMYK, what would be printed as CMYK would be kind of left alone, and then it would add the pink to it. So that's kind of the hack, if you will, if you want to manually design for pink rather than using the kind of the more automated CMYK Plus mechanism.
And I think that's actually a big strength of the Fiery DFE that I would like to point out, because if you know exactly what you want and you can set it up in a DTP area, then you will get the amount of specialty ink that you want, and yet the desire of you are working with a customer and they know exactly what they want. They can put it into the PDF, and the Fiery DFE will just honor all of these definitions in the PDF. But if you're working with a customer who maybe doesn't have a clue on how to do that, you can still do it even without color or DTP know-how on your end in the DFE in the last minute. And you can show it to your customer and maybe create one of these opportunities that Giselle talked about before and have a just nicer and more convincing version of the job and sell it for more profit, right?
That's a great point.
Yes. Well, that's all we can take today. As I mentioned, be aware of an email in your inbox in the next few days where we're going to share all of the materials here that we presented today, plus the Q&A. Thank you all for joining today and taking the time, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks to our presenters, and have a nice rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.